course. Thank you. This week, we've been taking you back to 2006, and more specifically, Storm 2006. Historic rains and historic floods pounded the borderland for days. ABC7 was live for 13 hours, and two of those people keeping you updated were Estela and now retired anchor Gary Warner. The two reunited and talked about the storm. Take a listen.
So 10 years ago this week, thousands of lives were changed. The look of our city changed. It became just chaos. What do you remember of that day, Gary?
The first thing I remember was trying to get to the station. I had awakened that morning and found a pond in our backyard. I slept through that first night of rain, but my wife was up most of the night, and she said, "Look, it's what's happening." I turned on Channel 7 to see what was happening and found out I needed to get into the station right away. And I went down West Wind to Shadow Mountain, where it intersects or becomes Shadow Mountain, and it was a whitewater rapids, that section. And since I was driving a car, not a canoe, I had to find another way to get into the station. Finally made it in, I think, around 11 o'clock. And you were in shortly after that. And I think the two of us were glued to the seats back here for the next 8 to 10 hours or more.
It sure was. It was a total of about 13 hours from the morning until we finished, but I think everybody remembers where they were. I live in that section still, Westwind and Sunland and Shadow Mountain, right. And I was trapped in my home. I remember being trapped, and the kids and I had to sweep all this water out of our backyard because it was this close to getting inside the house. And I didn't turn the TV on until later because I was too busy trying to get the water out of there. But eventually, you know, we all, I think a lot of people, if not all of El Paso, tuned in to see what we were doing, and it was a community coming together.
I think, and I was proud of the way the station reacted too, because in a business that ordinarily on a day-to-day basis operates in a very disciplined way, a very scripted way, for that coverage of Storm 2006, we went totally off script. I think we saved a ton of paper those few days because we didn't print scripts. We just winged everything that went by. And we had people out in the field, we had information coming in, we did interviews with people who were calling in, and I think we covered the area not only around El Paso and El Paso County, but southern New Mexico as well. It was a challenge, but I think looking back on it now, our people were up to it, and I'm proud of the way they performed. You know,
KVIA and the staff and everybody really comes together every single day, but more so in stories that are big like this. I have a very poor memory, but I was looking back at some pictures, and it jogged my memory of how we all came together. We had the reporters out in the field. They have a tough job every day. But in stories like this, they were especially put to the test, and they just were able to shine.
And I think they enjoyed it. They were up to the challenge. They met the challenge and performed. But of course, the ultimate thing is, did we serve the community in the coverage that we provided in those days? And I hope that we did. I think we did. We were keeping in touch with the emergency center at the county and city levels, and what they were telling us and what the average person was telling us all around the city. They were in emergency situations. I remember one call coming in, I think it was from Socorro, and they were knee-deep in mud out there with nobody to help them, and I thought, what can we do? We can only hope that the emergency center is watching and can get somebody out there to help them.
And that massive storm changed the way we do things here at the station and also changed the way the city prepares for rain and flooding. We hope you join us for ABC7 Extra Sunday night. Hear from Alan Schubert, El Paso Water Vice President of Operations, and Greg Lundy, meteorologist with the National Weather Service. And Gary and Estela's conversation about the storm and its impact also continues tomorrow morning on Good Morning El Paso, weekend at 8 a.m. Time now for a preview of ABC